What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, what's moving it today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. Lucid is down 3.45%, 252 the low, which is kind of where it's at right now, and then 262 the high. So today is just a very crappy day. A lot of companies unveiling their earnings, not necessarily going according to plan, plus a lot of larger geopolitical issues is starting to arise. So you kind of have all that at play. And of course, today is the big day for Tesla. So Tesla is going to be unveiling the earnings after hours. And we already do know whatever happens to Tesla, good, bad, and the ugly, does trickle down to other EVs. So again, that's going to be something that really moves Lucid. But aside from that, 18.2 million shares being traded, 37.5 is the average. So kind of low volume for that. And 2 transactions so far occurring on the secondary market above $100,000, both of which are sells, regrettably. So 254,000 and then 823. Even after hours, as you can kind of see right here, there is a abnormal amount of selling for whatever reason, and a couple big ones as well. So 10.7, 2.2, and whatever else. So yeah, I think it's not necessarily just the best. As I've stated in the past, the Elliott wave technicals and just the technicals in general are signaling more of a breakdown. So this is a Elliott wave technicals. It does have a pivot point of $3.20. So for as long as it is below that, then it is anticipated to kind of hit that $2 range. So we'll just have to wait and see. But no new analyst ratings, nothing along those lines. So the last one was 3 days ago. $3 price target, RBC. Tom, who has a 43% success rating. But aside from that, you see the ALMA super trend, 50, 100, 200 day moving averages as far as indicators, and Lucid is kind of just breaking down on all of them. So it's not the best chain of events that has been happening. Lucid did do a interview, or I guess podcast. I did do a video all about that, gave you the good, the bad, and the ugly afterwards. So if you didn't listen to that, take a look. It's only roughly around 7 minutes or something like that. But I think the fact that Peter has actually started to redo podcasts, I think that's generally a good sign, because normally whenever a company puts out bad news, they kind of go radio silent, which I think is the better thing to do essentially. But Peter's still out there really just putting Lucid on a pedestal, and he's very, very confident in their future. So you got to give him that. Regardless of what is happening behind the scenes on a macro level, he is very confident in Lucid that they are going to succeed. Today, there isn't any news, no SEC filings, nothing along those lines. So it's just piggybacking off of the broader market. A couple of things did come out. So Lucid posted this on Twitter and other social medias. So it looks like cars.com did name the Lucid Air as the 2025 top pick for luxury EV. So that's kind of what Lucid wants, right? They want to be seen as a luxury EV provider, and then of course branch out from that with midsize and whatever. So I think this is another big accomplishment for Lucid, bigger picture. So even though they aren't really ramping up to the best of their ability and all that, their tech is amazing. And even the bears say that, right? A lot of the bears say like, well, they have a beautiful vehicle, but they don't ramp up. Like they always say the same crap. But I think this is generally a good thing. And then Lucid Oasis did post this a couple days back. So it looks like 𝗖𝗧𝗪𝗡𝗘 is going to be speaking at the Sustainable Transport in Saudi Arabia 2022 conference. And that's going to be on October the 28th. So that'll be coming up. I always really like hearing from him because he is straightforward, has a lot of good information, and no BS. So I really like to, hopefully there's a video that comes out of his chat and stuff like that. But aside from that though, shorts are really returning a ton. So of course, this is how you're having it kind of balanced, if that makes sense. So shorts are currently returning 6.95 million shares. So they're taking advantage of a lot of the fear in the broader market. And so by them returning, they are adding buying pressure. So it's kind of countering this right here, so the level of selling. But currently 20.18% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 238.88 million shares. Cost to borrow average is 4.28. I did have some comments last time on why this short interest did change from roughly around 30% to where it is now, and that is because of the recent dilution. So as I've stated in the past, all of this, everything basically here is formulas. And of course, if you're diluting, outstanding shares go up. And so that obviously directly does affect the short interest, right? So something just to keep in mind, but still shorts returning this amount is kind of unfortunate. The fact that it's not really a squeeze. But this is, on a side note, why I like to analyze this information, because by shorts returning this amount, it kind of says that today's sell-off and these prices are somewhat unjustified. That's, again, how I see it at least. But based on the options, there is 438,000 in calls, 96,000 in puts. So very low dollar value based on today. 48% of all the options being done so far today are relatively neutral in nature. Of the call options that are being purchased, you see a consensus for it to be above roughly $3, and that seems to be the most optimistic. I'd say you see some around that 4, but very little volume. And then looking at the puts, you see a consensus for it to be sub 250 this week, and even in January, so January 17th, 2025, roughly for it to be sub $2. So some entities out there are feeling that Lucid isn't really going to kind of get any better. So in general, I think just a level of optimism has gone down today, but right now with it at $2.52, it is trading right below this S1. So this 253 is a strong pivot. Really need to watch for it to hopefully stay above that, because if not, then that is where that Elliott wave technicals is going to come into play, where it could be hitting that kind of $2 range in reality. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But as it stands, 233 and then 253 are going to be the support levels. 286, 319 is going to be the next strong resistance / target. So like I said, I think Lucid is just waiting because Tesla is going to move it, as well as their own earnings. And tomorrow, their questions do open up towards retail, or I guess retail to management. So I'll do a video just all about some stuff, potentially some questions to avoid, because based on what Peter did state about the actual Gravity numbers, it is fair to assume that they cannot guide based on that, and they will not. So even if retail does ask that, it's kind of a wasted question. So hopefully nobody does ask that. And I did actually have a comment based on that. Why should we even care about the Gravity, and especially asking about the numbers and why that's even relevant? Well, ultimately, every analyst rating is kind of derived based on future revenue, and knowing the number of projected deliveries of the Gravity directly correlates with revenue, right? So it goes all hand in hand. If you don't know what their big money maker is going to be and how many they plan on selling, you can't really accurately forecast how much revenue, thus kind of a bad rating. It's kind of a full circle kind of thing, but yeah, so it definitely is a big deal. But like I said, it doesn't really matter because Lucid already stated that they're not going to guide on that. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. 2 things: take advantage of this promo. It does give you 8 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. As well, I did launch memberships, so if you like my content, want to support the channel, definitely do so. Or if you just want buy signals on stocks and options, that is also another tier for you as well. So with all that, appreciate all of you watching.